Om Sam Saraswati Namaha. Namaste. Namaste, everyone. On page 70, we'll begin with verse 119. Bhavini Bhoganirata Bhadrada Bhuri Vikrama Bhuta Vasa Vrigulata Bhargavi Visu Rachita Bhagirati Bhogavati Bhavanasta Vishabhara Bhamini Bhogini Bhasha Bhavani Puri Dakshina Bhargavika Bhimapati Baba Bharga Vimochini Bhajaniya Bhutadadrir Anjita Bhuvaneshwari Pujanga Bhavalima Pirunda Bhagyadevini Matamaya Madhumati Madhujiva Madhupriga Mahadevi Mahabhana Malini Minalochana Mayapita Madhumati Madhumansa Madhutrava Manavi Madhusambuddha Matila Purabhasini Madhukoitava Sanantri Medhini Megamalini Mandodari Mahamaya Moitalai Rasvina Pradripriya Mahalakshmi Mahakali Mahakanya Maheshwari Mahindri Merutanaya Mandara Kustamarchita Manju Manjira Charana Mokshada Manjubashini Madhura Gravini Mudra Mabhaya Malayambita Midamaraka Shashama Magadi Menakamanjam Mahamari Mahavira Mahashyama Manustaka Matrika Mihira Vasa Mukunda Bhagavikrama Muladharastita Mudya Manipuraka Vasini Mrigakshi Mahishara Mahisha Suramardini Yogasana Yogakamya Yoga Yovana Kashraya Yogani Yuga Madhyastha Yamuna Yuga Darini Yakshini Yoga Yuktacha Yaksharaja Prastutini Yatra Yanana Dipananagya Yadavamsa Samupapa Yakara Nihakaranta Yaturshi Yagya Rubini Yamini Yoga Nirata Yatudana Payankari Rukmini Ramani Raman Revati Renukarati Rodri Rodra Priyakara Ramamata Ratiprika Rokini Rajataripa Ramarajiva Lochana Rakeshi Rupa Sambana Ratna Singhasanastita Raktamalkya Bharadara Raktagandhara Dipana Rajahamsa Smarura Ramba Raktabalipriya Ramani Yugadara Rajita Kilamutala Rucharma Pridana Ratini Ratamalika Rokeshi Rogashamani Ravani Ramakashini Ramachandra Madakranta Ravana Chaitanya Karini Ratna Masra Richina Ratnasai Rukma Bhushana, Lajadi Devatalola, Lalita Lingatarini, Lakshmi Lola, Dutta Visha, Lokini Lokavishruta, Lajala Modari Devi, Lalana Lokadarini, Morta Bandita Vidya, Vaishnavi Bimalakriti, Parati Virajavisha, Mora Lakshmi Vilasini, Om. Let's stop right there at verse number 140, and we'll turn to page 176, and we begin with name number 751. She who embodies wealth, she's the wife of Bhrigu. Now remember, Bhrigu Muni was the father of astrology. He's the father of all the Jyotishis. He is the guru of all those who determine the events on the earth by calculating the positions of the stars. And Bhargavi is his wife, and she is the embodiment of Bhargavi. So she's got all the wealth. She who is worshipped by the gods of the earth. She who is the carrier of purity, Ganga. And Bhagirati, that's a name given to Ganga's devotee. It's also given to Ganga. She was called after the name of her devotee, because her devotee was so devoted. Actually, Sagar, the ocean, was doing a great yajna, and Indra doubted his intentions and came and stole. He was doing the Ashwamedh Yajna, which is where they take a horse and they send the horse all around the known world, and everywhere the horse goes, the kings of that nation have the choice to do battle with the army following the horse or to pay tribute. So Saga was doing this Ashwamedh Yajna, and Indra became afraid. If he completes his yajna, what will he do? And Indra came and stole the horse. So he made off with the horse, and he took the horse to the ashram of Kapil Muni and tied him up outside the door of the ashram and ran away. Sagar had 60,000 sons, and he said, "Boys, go find the horse." The boys tracked the horse, and they came to Kapil Muni's ashram. They found the horse tied up outside the door, outside the gate to the ashram. So they barged into the ashram, and they saw the Muni doing japa with his eyes closed. And they say, "Hey, Pakandi Muni, hey, you fraud, you fake, you're deceiving us. You're pretending to be in meditation, and here you are, you've stolen our father's horse. You are absolutely a cheat. Nonsense, you're pretending to be in meditation." The Muni opened his eyes and he saw the 60,000 sons of Sagar there accusing him. And he said, "You crazy kids, you're in my ashram and I'm meditating and doing tapasya, and you're accusing me of being a thief? I'm a meditating Muni. What business do I have with your father's horse?" The boy said, "Not only are you a thief, but you're a liar. The horse is tied up right outside the gate to the ashram. Here you are sitting with your eyes closed going, oh, Ram, 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 Ram. What kind of nonsense is this? We don't believe you. We think we're going to stone you to death for being a liar and a cheat and a thief." They picked up the stones and started to throw them at Kapil Muni. A stone hit him in the head and blood came forth, and he said, You've drawn blood from the body of a meditating Muni, punishing me without a trial, without listening to evidence, without looking at the circumstances. You're only looking at your own perceptions. Your egotism will be your demise. You're thinking only of your selfish selves. He picked up some water and he cursed them. He said, I'm going to turn you all into ashes. And he threw the water. And those 60,000 sons of Sagar immediately turned to ashes. Can't you see them? There they are. A whole full Havenkund full of the remains of the 60,000 sons of Sagar. Sagar, when he heard that his 60,000 sons were burned to ashes by the curse of the meditating Muni, he went immediately to Brahma and he said, how can I get my sons back? Enough of this yajna. I don't care about the yajna. I just want to be, just make me back to where I was before I started the yajna. Give me my kids back. Brahma said, the only one who has sufficient purity to restore the life of your sons is Ganga. But you see, she's in heaven with me in my kunda. So you have to do tapasya and ask her to come down to earth. Sagar tried his best, and he was unable to make Ganga come down to earth. His son was Anshuman, and he also was a noble king, and he did a strong tapasya, and he tried his very best to pray to Ganga, Ganga, please come down to earth. And after Anshuman came Dilip, and he tried, and he also was unable to make Ganga come down to earth. Dilip's son was Bhagirath. And he took a strong sankalpa to make Ganga come down to earth. And she came. And that's why she's called Bhagirati. Because Bhagirath did the tapasya to make Ganga come down to earth. One of her names is the Bhagirati. And she is the carrier of purity, the conveyance of purity. Ganga came down to the earth. She landed on Shiva's head. She dripped down his locks of hair. She came across the earth. She came right across India, and she came to Kapil Muni's ashram, and she saw all the ashes of all those 60,000 sons there, and she washed all the ashes all the way across India into the ocean. And then the boys were united with their father, who's Sagar. He was the ocean. And so they achieved immortal life by merging with the sea. So she who is the carrier of purity, Ganga, she who is the spirit of all enjoyment, Bhogavati. She is, every time you have a bhakti, is a spirit or a presence, the everlasting presence, or the spirit, the eternal spirit of bhog, which is enjoyment. She who lives on the earth, she who gives the blessings of health, Bishag Barai. She who illuminates the highest attitude. She who enjoys, she who is language, she's Bhasha. And she's also, as a Bhasha, she's a commentary. She's not just language, but she could be specific language too, which is good language, which expounds upon the scriptures. That's Bhasha. What we are reading right now is Atika. That is the literal translation. Now, in addition to a tika, whenever you have Sanskrit shlokas written out, you have a tika, and often some wordy swami is going to come along and offer a bhasha. And that bhasha is the commentary, and an explanation, a purport. How do you, a vinayog, how do you apply this knowledge to our lives, is the bhasha. So the expansion beyond the dictionary meanings is the bhasha. It's also language. She who is all excellence, she who gives great gifts, she who has great light, she who is most powerful, she who removes the bonds of existence, she who is worshipped through song, especially when Srima sings, she who delights in creating all the elements. And primarily we talk about the 5 elements, 5 primary elements: Kshiti, up, Tej, Mor, Bom, earth, water, fire, air, and ether. The 5 constituent elements which combine to make all the other stuff of creation. She who is the supreme goddess of the world. She was in the form of a snake, and that Bhujanga, you all know the cobra Bhujanga asana, where you look up and stretch. That Bhujanga, she stands for the rising energy, so that it makes the energy rise. And that's what the snakes all stand for, energy in various forms. Bhujanga is the rising energy. She who is powerful, she who wears a garland of skulls. We're talking about Kali there. And remember, she has taken all of our impurities and all the personalities debating their various ideologies. She's taken them all away from us, and she cuts off their heads, puts them on a garland, and that's what the skulls represent. All of our impurities and all the impure voices that are chattering inside our brains. Those are the garland of skulls that she wears. And thank goodness they're there, because if they're there, they can't be here. And that makes me pretty free. And I know this is Independence Day weekend, and we're all seeking freedom. And this is a great sense of independence that we get when Kali takes away our impurities. She who gives each his good fortune. She who is the mother, she who is the great limitation, she who is full of sweetness, she whose tongue is sweet, she who loves sweetness, she who is the great goddess, she who is the great fortune, she who is the cultivator, Malini. She's also a lady gardener, and she cultivates all the flowers, which is us. She's cultivating us and trying to make our soil rich, and so that we can receive the seeds that she's trying to implant within us, so that they sprout, and she'll take care of them. She who has the eyes of a fish. Is there something special about a fish eye? Well, I'm sure there is. Do you know there's Meen Rashi, and there's the astrological configuration of the fish. I think you call Pisces. Is the configuration of fish. So she has the eyes of the fish. You know the symbol for Meen Rashi is the fish who is always in the water but never dirty. So she has the eyes of the fish who is always in the world but never worldly. And perhaps we can attribute some of that meaning to the eyes of a fish. She who is beyond limitations, she who is the spirit of sweetness, she whose body is sweet, She who is pleased with the offerings of sweetness, she who is human. Well, I bow to the goddess in so many forms. She who is born from sweetness. She resides in the city of Mithila. And remember, Mithila is now called Janakpur. It's just across the border in southern Nepal, across the Bihar border between Bihar and southern Nepal. But of course, she resides in the city of Mithila as Sita. She who destroys too much and too little. Wow, that's what an opportunity to create balance. If we have neither too much nor too little. She who is the earth. She who wears a garland of clouds. So she takes all the clouds and makes them into a garland. She who supports the mind. Do you know of course, Vritrashura came as a cloud. And Vritra, it means changes, modifications. Vritra, the cloud rises, it covers the sun. The sun is the light of wisdom. And so because of the attentiveness to changes and modifications, the cloud rises into the sky and covers the light of wisdom. We can't see our wisdom because we're so attached to the outcomes of our changes and modifications. And then Indra comes with his thunderbolt, and he causes the lightning to strike the cloud, and the cloud showers down rain, and the sun comes out, and the itsy bitsy spider starts up the spout again. It's a Vedic parable. Well, they had spiders then. She who supports the mind. And remember, Mandodari was also the wife of Ravan. And she was always advising Ravan to do the right thing. Poor guy, he couldn't listen to her. She who is the great limitation of consciousness. She who is a citizen of Mithila. She who loves with great sweetness. She who is the great goal of existence. That's a nice one, Mahalakshmi. She who is the great remover of darkness. She who is the great daughter. She who is the supreme goddess as mother. She who is the great ruler of divinity. She who is the embodiment of the mountain Meru. Remember, Meru is it's one name for the spinal column. It's called Merudanga. So she is the embodiment of the mountain Meru, which we are all striving to rise up along this mountain. Meru is also the axis, the polar axis between the north and south poles. So it's the Meru that's around which the earth churns. And Meru is also mounted in the Himalayas, which is said to be behind Kailash, and it's the mountain around which all the spiritual beings wish to circumambulate. She who is offered heavenly flowers. She whose anklet sounds are heard everywhere. She who gives liberation. She whose language is sweet. She whose sweetness pervades all. She who is expressed in mystical symbols. She who dwells in the Himalayas. She who is anointed with scent. She who embodies the intellect of love. And remember the difference between Medas, the intellect of love, and Buddhi, which is just the intellect. And Buddhi is just a dusty old dry intellect. And Medas is the intellect of love. And because we're in love, we love that intellect. It just means so much more to be learning with inspiration than it does to be memorizing facts. So this is a very important distinction we make between having the inspiration, getting the bhava down, and learning from the inspiration rather than just sitting and you have to, reading and writing and arithmetic all to the tune of a hickory stick. That was buddhi. And this is Medas. Because we've got this love here, we've got this joy here, it's a privilege to learn. It's exciting to learn, to change ourselves, to improve ourselves. And you can put away all those hickory sticks. Learning the 3 R's is a little bit, it's been updated a while. She who is like a dark jewel. She who is the goddess who dwells in Bihar. She who gives birth to the possibilities of the mind. She who is the great destroyer. She who is the great hero. She who is the great darkness. She who is worshipped by the Monu, the first manifestation of mind. So Monu sang a stuti for her. And he did. Yeah, Manu sang a hymn of praise for the Divine Mother. And he was the first man like Adam and Eve. Manu and Satyavati, they were the Adam and Eve of our tradition. She was the embodiment of the Mother. She was expressed by the light of wisdom. She was the discipline to attain the feet of God. She who dwells in the Muladhara chakra. So remember, the Kundalini is said to be asleep, that Shakti, that Kundalini energy. She dwells in the Muladhara chakra, and the object is to wake her up and make her rise to the Sahasranam, where she will lovingly embrace Lord Shiva, and Shiva and Shakti will be together in the Sahasranam. So she dwells in the Muladhara chakra. Actually, it's a beautiful poetic expression because she dwells everywhere. She who is always fun. That's our mom. She's cool. A lot of fun. She who dwells in the Manipura chakra. She whose eyes are like a deer. She who rides upon the buffalo. The buffalo always stands for perseverance. So she's got tremendous perseverance. She's got integrity towards her sankalpa, and she will persevere. She'll see it through to the end. She who is the destroyer of the great ego. She who sits in the posture of yoga. She who always moves in union. She who is always in union. She who gives refuge to youth. She who is young. She who is established in the center of battle. She who is the river Yamuna. She who supports the revolutions of time. She who is in the beings attached to wealth. She empowers the beings attached to wealth. She's in the beings attached to wealth. She's one with those yakshas. And she is also the wealth that they are attached to. She who is united in union. She who gives birth to the king of those beings attached to wealth, Yaksharaj. She who is on the divine journey. She who knows how to go. Thank goodness. She who gave birth to the clan of Yadu. That's the family of Krishna, Yadu Vansh. She who is the 8 letters from Ya to Ha. Ya, Ra, La, Wa, Sha, Tha, Tha, Ha. 8 letters. Yeah, good. She who is worshipped in the Ajurveda. She who is the form of sacrifice. She who is dark as night. She who is always absorbed in union. She who instills fear in beings of duality. If you're a being of duality, you're always afraid of losing something. She who is the energy of the doer of all. She who is filled with beautiful bliss. She who is the energy of the subtle manifestation of consciousness. She who is fresh as the spring. She who is mother of the Rishi Parashuram. That's Renuka. She was the wife of Jamadagni. And she was the mother of Parashuram. She who is the spring. She who is fierce. She who is the beloved of the reliever of sufferings. She who is the mother of Ram. She who is the lover of the spring. She who is the illuminator of the heavens. She who is the giver of the kingdom. She who is a musical rhythm. She who is beauty manifest. She whose eyes are like lotuses. She who is the spot on the forehead of the moon. She who has the form most beautiful. She who is situated upon a throne of jewels. She who wears a red garland and dress. She whose body is smeared with red unguents. She who rides upon the king of swans, Hansarura. She who illuminates beauty. She who loves the red offering. She who supports the beautiful period of time, the Satyayug. She whose kingdom is the entire earth. Yeah, it was only the men who started drawing lines upon the earth and saying, this is mine and that's yours. If she was she's the queen of the universe. She's got the whole earth. What does she have to do with our little lines and borders and boundaries, and you need a passport to go from this side to that side? She whose kingdom is the entire universe. She who wears a tighter skin. She who travels by chariot. She who wears a mala of jewels. She who is the ruler of all diseases. She who destroys all illness. She who calls in a loud voice. She whose skin tingles with delight. She who was saved by the foot of Rama. Remember when Ahalya was cursed? She was cursed to become a stone. And she said, as she was shrinking out of her human form, how will I ever be freed from this curse? And her husband, Rishi Gautam, who cursed her, he said to her, one day Ram will walk down this path and you will touch his lotus feet and you will be freed from the curse. And Ahalya became a stone, and in her form as a stone she said, Ram, 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 Ram. And she just became so stoned as a stone that all she could think of was Ram. And one day, Vishwamitra came down that path with Ram and Lakshman. And Ram looked at the scene and he said, this ashram is desolate. There is no life here whatsoever. And in the middle of the ashram is this stone, and out of the stone is growing a tulsi plant, a holy basil tree. What kind of a strange circumstance is this? And Vishwamitra said, Ram, everyone knows how to apportion blame to those who have committed error. But only special people can redeem the fallen. So go touch that stone with your foot. Because here lies the soul of a woman who was deceived by one man and cursed by another. And you are the redeemer of the lowly. Ram went over and touched his foot to the stone, and the stone turned into the beautiful Ahalya. Deceived by Indra, cursed by Rishi Gautam, redeemed by Ram. So she who was saved by the foot of Ram. She who is the cause of the destruction of Ravana. Actually, that's Sita. But before Sita was Sita, she was Mayavati. And she was still a very beautiful lady. And she was doing tapasya, and Ravana came to her and said, "Hey Sundari, come with me." And he grabbed her by the hand. And Mayavati said, "You dare to touch me? I am a tapaswini, I am tejaswini, I am full of light, I am full of tapas, I am full of purity, and your hand is defiled because it touched my pure body with lust in your heart, and therefore I'm leaving this body. I refuse to wear a body that has been defiled by a sinner like you. But I promise you I will come back and I will become the cause of your death." And that is the destruction. That's why Sita came back. Mayavati came back as Sita, and she was the cause of the destruction of Ram. She who wears a cloth inlaid with jewels. She who is situated upon a chariot. She who is bountifully adorned. She who is the goddess of modesty. She who is extremely active. She who is playful. She who supports the subtle body. She who is the goal of all wealth. She who enacts the drama of existence. She who is beyond all poisons. She who is all the worlds. She who is remembered by all the people. She who is modesty. She who is the goddess with a big belly. Oh, I've got a friend for you. A sadhu with a big belly. She who is most beloved. She who is the support of the worlds. She who is the giver of boons. She who is worshipped. She who is knowledge. She who pervades all. She whose form is pure. Om. And here ends our names for tonight. Let's see if there are any questions. Yes, Mr. Srini.
Swamiji, on name 827,
yes, please.
She who always moves in union. Does that suggest that an ideal for us, in the sense that even when we are moving, we should be in union? Is that an achievable ideal?
Absolutely it is. And you could be in union with you yourself and your soul. You can be in union with your purpose. You can be in union with God and Guru. You can be in union with your family. You can be, the expression of union carries out so far. So yes, carry yourself, as Shankaracharya was to say, carry yourself as a great ascetic. Be in union, be a whole and fully contained, and know your purpose, and go deliberately. Move with deliberation, and be in union. That you can do, Srini. Let's see if there are other questions.
Swamiji, here's a question from Vrindavan Shakti from New Zealand.
Namaste, Vrindavan Shakti. Thank you so much for your lovely emails.
Namaste, Swamiji. I'm completely captivated by these last days' broadcasts. Could Swamiji explain a little more about the nature of duality?
Oh boy, can I ever! One day, Narad Muni went to Vishnu and he said, Vishnu, I've heard so much about Maya. I've never seen Maya. I don't know how to define Maya. Would you please explain to me? Could you show me Maya? Can you explain it to me? Vishnu said, Narad, I most certainly can. Come with me. Vrindavan Shakti, Narad went with Vishnu and they went to a lake. And Vishnu said, it's very hot, let's take a bath. Narad walked into the waters and Vishnu said, here, give your veena to me. I'll take your instrument. And Narad very pleasingly, very happily, joyously handed his instrument to Vishnu. And then Narad ducked under the water once, twice, 3 times, and he came up. And he had the body of a woman, a young lady, very beautifully adorned, well-dressed, lots of jewels, the young lady. And he looked around and there was no Vishnu. He couldn't understand who he was or what he was doing there, what she was doing there. Suddenly there came a handsome prince riding before a large army. Oh, damsel in distress, who are you? Who is your father? Who is your husband? What are you doing here by yourself standing in the lake? Narad thought, I don't know who I am, and I don't know who my father is. I don't think I'm married, and I take refuge in you, O king. The king said, well, you're a beautiful lady. Come and marry me and come back to my kingdom. And Narad became the queen of the kingdom, and she had 7 sons. And her sons grew up to be educated, wealthy, valorous young princes. And she thought, oh my goodness gracious, I am the most lucky of all the queens, of all the nations that are ruled by king. I've got a loving husband. He's healthy, wealthy, wise. I've got 7 sons. They'll take care of me in my old age. I've got this whole kingdom. I have been blessed beyond imagination. One day, a neighboring king became enemies to her husband and attacked that kingdom with such force. The husband and the 7 sons rode out in front of the army into battle. And one by one, her 7 sons were slain. Her husband died. Her capital city was pillaged, plundered, and everybody, all the citizens fled in hysteria. And that queen went out into the battlefield and grabbed the corpses of her dead sons to her bosom and said, oh, my sons, you've left me. Oh, how unfortunate am I to witness the destruction of our kingdom, the death of my husband, the death of my children. How unfortunate am I? And one sadhu came to the grieving queen, and he said to her, this is no place for a queen. You shouldn't be holding all those dead bodies. You shouldn't be here in the battlefield. Go take a bath and go back to your kingdom. the queen went to the lake and walked into the waters of the lake. She ducked under once, twice, and 3 times, and she stood up with the body of Narad Muni. And there was Vishnu standing, holding his veena and his musical instrument. And Narad said, Vishnu, what happened? Why is it? I remember you from before and I see you now. But when I had the body of the queen with my 7 sons and all that wealth and that beautiful husband, I couldn't remember you at all. And Vishnu said, that is the nature of duality. That is the Maya. You asked to see the Maya. Now that is the Maya. You can see me now, but you couldn't remember me then. Vrindavan Shakti, that's the duality. We find ourselves in duality and we are acting and interacting and struggling and striving and trying our best to accomplish our objectives. We forget all about the fact that we just took a bath and Vishnu is standing right beside us.
A question from Ambika from New Jersey.
Namaste, Ambika.
Swamiji, she's asking about name number 808.
808, yes.
Which is she who is anointed with scent.
Yes.
And she says, can you explain the ways in which we can use scents in our sadhana? Are we using specific oil scents or incense? Do we offer them? Wear oils on ourselves? What do we do?
Yes, we use a lot of aromatherapy, as it's called today, I guess in English. Yes, first we use incense, then we offer perfume, then we offer scented rose water, and scented, we have scents, lots of scents. And we use the scents to captivate our, what do they call it, olfactory sense of smell. That you got to keep your senses focused. So we offer sensory stimulation, or sensory objects of sensory perception, so that we perceive the pure and the good, and we focus on all that which is divine. So yes, Ambika, when you meditate, you light a stick of incense. You may even burn a scented candle. You offer some perfume to the deity. You offer some scented rose water in your charanamrit. There are various offerings which we make. And these are all part of the scents.
Swamiji, Ambika has a follow-up question. If there are specific scents for specific deities?
No, not really. There are some scents that apply to everybody. They all like chandan. They all like the sandalwood scent. They all appreciate musk. There are scents which are universal. I don't know of any scents that are rejected by any deity. But I can sure tell you that I emit a few scents that are not so fragrant. You wouldn't want to offer those to your deity. And also, oftentimes, some nonsense comes out of my mouth as well.
Swamiji, question from Nanda from San Jose.
Namaste, Nandama.
Swamiji, Pranam, I'm trying to understand the Narad story. Does that mean we remember God only when we are like Narad and forget God in normal life? Please help me understand.
Many of us do. Guilty as charged. And the objective is to remember God all the time. And not to be like Narad and say, Guy, look at my children and my husband and my wealth and my kingdom and my. And then to say, God, please, thank you for the blessings that you've given me every moment of every day. And remember that, like Narad was not able to. He was so captivated by the duality, he forgot about the unity. And he didn't move in union. Please.
In a previous class, you mentioned two rarely used chakras in between Agya and Sahasranam.
Yes.
Can you explain their significance?
Not very much. That's why they're rarely used. There's the Som chakra above the Agya chakra, and I'm going to have to research the name of the other one. It doesn't come to me immediately. It's a more intense form of devotion. So Agya chakra gives the order, and Som chakra gives greater devotion to the order. So you're not just taking orders. I can tell you that much. There's one more above it, and I'm not remembering the name right now.
Swamiji, Nanda has a related question. She's asking, can you talk about the importance of chakras and how they impact an individual?
Oh, remember Shiva and Shakti revolve around each other mutually and reciprocally. Who understands this understands a chakra. Therefore, Nanda, the chakras are not limited to the centers of energy within the body, but they also refer to any center of energy where Shiva and Shakti are mutual and reciprocal in their relationship, working together to evolve a center of energy, often called a family. So yes, the chakras are extremely important to us, and they are extremely intimate to us because we are all involved in some kind of chakra or not other. And beyond being involved in the chakra, we are creating the chakra wherever we go, wherever we reach out to touch and bring another individual into our center of energy, to gravitate in the same chakra. So the inner chakras, the inner centers of energy are important in our internal development, and the outer centers of energy are important in our physical manipulation of our world. We've all got stuff to do. And when we do it together, we are empowered to do more. So if someone, Mom and I have a great agreement, she cooks and I eat. And if she didn't cook, well, I wouldn't eat so well. And if I didn't eat so well, maybe I'd speak a little more nicely. Or something. But there would be a change because of our not working together in harmony. And the fact that we can work together in harmony creates a greater harmony because the whole is greater than the sum of the parts. So Ravi and Tejaswini, they illuminate something that's greater than just the two individuals coming together. Their union affects our whole family and spreads that purity and spreads clarity and greater inspiration. Because they're together, working together, we are inspired to do even more ourselves. So the chakra is very important in our evolution as spiritual beings. And when we're aware of a chakra outside, and we become aware of the chakra inside, and we get a concordance, a direct understanding, an intuitive concordance between the inner and outer worlds. We can feel that energy and make that energy relevant to our circumstance and see how together we can harness that energy to make something greater in the evolution of us all. Om Sam Saraswati Namaha. Namaste.